Welcome back to game number 2 in the IEM Sao Paulo qualifiers, guys. It's a brisk, cold, freezing my butt off morning here in Canada, and I hope you guys are all doing well. I am Rifkin, casting today with my Insanity's Penguin, and his teammate spawning here in the top right corner of the map in that glorious team color blue. It is Jjakji, who's leading the series 1-0.
He is after a very, very quick Reaper rush game number 1. His opponent, though, unable to hold that cheese in game 1. Will he be able to battle it out in a macro game this time around? It's going to be our Pink Zerg player playing for the Evil Geniuses. It is the prodigal son currently returning. It is Stephano.
And I do apologize. I do see a lot of you guys trying to do votes in chat. You know, vote Stephano, vote Jjakji. We normally do have the voting system working, but I think Nightbot's currently dead / malfunctioning, so currently featured not available. But I want to thank you guys. I saw someone drop a straw poll in chat, so if you want to vote, go there. We'll take a look at that afterwards. But Stephano sending out the drone scout this time, Penguin, as predicted. Love that he's doing this because this is entirely reactionary to that first game. Otherwise, absolutely. Yeah, this is just Jjakji has already achieved what is more or less a minor victory here in game number 2 just by forcing the drone scout already.
Stephano doesn't want to die to something like that. He doesn't want his IEM run marred by a first round defeat here, even though it would not be it's not like a horrible thing to lose to Jjakji by any means, but
he's a former GSL champion, for goodness sake.
Yeah. But I also want to give a bit of an update from the brackets here. Happy taking out Slivko 2-0. Tefl taking out Stardust 2-1 as well. So Slivko and Stardust dropping down very early to the loser bracket. Stardust going to be playing off against Demaga right now.
Correct me if I'm wrong too. Naniwa was not disqualified from the tournament, but he simply took a loss on that walkover, right? So is he still in the losers bracket?
If he shows up for it, yes.
Cool. So guys, Naniwa's not 100% on this yet. You may still get to see him later today, but even that aside, with Stephano here, with Jjakji here, with all the players invited today and the ones who qualified yesterday. Oh, sorry, I was gonna say he almost gets the SCV, but Jjakji decides to repair it instead. Reaper coming out will stop this drone from its rampage essentially here in just a moment. But my point is, there's a lot of good matches today. These are pretty much all best of 3s in a double elimination tournament. You're gonna get to see some good StarCraft one way or another today. But yeah, this second game I imagine will probably be much better than that first, as it's not already essentially over.
Yeah. And Jjakji playing very, very standard here. He's going for the double Reaper here to try to get a scout off. He's going for the expansion to around 340 at the low ground as well. So everything looking very standard for him. Stephano as well, going for the gas opening here. He wants to be able to get speed out to deal with the Reapers, even if they're not like cheesy Reapers. With good Reaper micro, which Jjakji definitely has, you can definitely do quite a bit. So getting that speed out is going to help him to shut those down. And initially also the Queens will help to shut those down. These links are just to buy time for the Queens to finish.
Yeah, the 2 links popping out of the natural are a little unfortunate. Those are the 2 you want to send offensive to kill the SCV building the command center, but Stephano, with a little bit of, not like poor control, just bad luck with those larva spawns, is forced to deal with this Reaper. Queen popping out now should be able to drive this back, keeps the drone alive. And
here comes the second Reaper though, and once again, the same with the rush build. Stuff starts to get harder when the second Reaper comes on in. It's still pretty easy to defend with the Queens here, and when Speed comes out, he can definitely shut this down completely, but Speed's still quite a way out, and actually we have a Roach Warren on the way for Stephano, so he could be looking to either pressure with Roaches or just go defensive Roaches here, and I mean, there are several options he has, but we could even see a Roach Bane bust.
Well, he's got to deal with the Reapers first for sure. Now coming towards the main. Queen still standing here strong. Might get a drone killer too if he wants to get greedy, but Jjakji's not going to get greedy. He's going to try and get out alive, but these links are going to have something to say about that.
Nice control by Stephano. Very nice control by Stephano. Getting both Reapers. That is a big, big loss. This is going to considerably hinder Jjakji's ability to be pressuring with the Hellions now, as you want to have the Reapers there to tank the shots and then heal on up. So the Hellion push, the Hellion poke, going to be significantly weaker. We are going to be seeing a Banshee follow-up by Jjakji as well. But that as well, it goes with the Hellions. It's also going to be weaker as a result of losing those Reapers.
Well, the Banshees are actually going to be necessary. Yeah, I was going to say with the Roaches coming out. Like, he's not going to be able to push with it, but he's going to need it for the defense.
Yeah, there's only 5 Roaches coming out. He's not looking to get aggressive with this at all by the looks of it. Only 1 guy in gas, so he's not going to be going for an all-in or anything. But 5 Roaches is a nice number to be able to defend and take a third with. We also have the drone already at the third. He's not taking it just yet, but Roaches are going to be very, very nice to defend against those Hellions, especially without any Reapers there to tank. The Banshees, though, are going to be a bit of an issue. There's only one additional Queen coming up for Stephano. Usually you want to go up to 2 if you suspect a Banshee is coming, which he apparently doesn't.
And what's really nice too is even if Stephano doesn't plan to go for like Roach Hydra or something like that, Roaches without upgrades are good in the mid game. Like you keep the Hellions at bay, you can stave off small amounts of pushes. They've got a lot of health on them, so I don't know if he'll carry this through. I mean, Roach Hydra is a thing, but you see it a lot less commonly versus Terran. It's usually, of course, the mutilating bling composition, but I do like that Stephano's getting the pneumatized Carapace. Scouting is everything. He's got these 2 Overlords waiting to go in and see just what Jjakji's going for.
Jjakji is getting a second Banshee, but he is not getting Cloak, so we're not going to be seeing any surprise Cloak attacks, but the Banshee's still going to be able to pack a pretty big punch here, but at least Stephano won't have to invest in an Overseer to try to hold this off. Still only the 1 additional Queen, so the 2 Banshees are definitely going to be able to take that out if he wants to. But the Roach count should be able to stave off the Hellions pretty well. We're seeing Jjakji go into bio double upgrades from here, the 2 engineering base finishing on up. 3rd CC almost complete as well for him, and a Viking coming out to clear out the Overlords as well. 3 more Roaches and a Lair as well for Stephano.
Yeah, Banshee's trying to get focused down, but of course 1 Queen can't even take on a Banshee, much less with Hellions underneath it. No transfuse goes off, and the Banshee gets the Queen and gets out alive.
That is just the Creep Queen, though.
Yeah.
It's not going to significantly hinder Stephano's production. He can't get a... He could have sent it over to be a Queen for the 3rd, but it's not a huge deal. The big problem now is that he doesn't have any real additional Queens. He's supply blocked, and there's 2 Banshees here. That's what's going to be a real thorn in his side now.
I know, this is one of those situations where you really wish you had gone for like those 3 Queens for creep on top of the 2 you have for injects, because they would have been great for this defense. Sporecrawler now going to try and move itself out, but even then, the Sporecrawler can get almost focused down before it can plant itself, as long as Jjakji recognizes this quick enough. Scan goes down over in the natural, sees that there's nothing there.
Your forces are under attack.
Queen popping out at a nice time. It'll at least tank some shots while the Spore burrows, and as a result, Stephano is able to save that 3rd. 14 drones on the way immediately. 1-1 going to be finishing soon. Range is the upgrade. I don't know if we pointed this out before, but it looks like Jjakji may be going up against some burrowed Roaches with tunneling claws. That would be a pretty cool thing to see, but we also have a Hydra Den and an Infestation Pit coming on down, so kind of hard to predict what Stephano's going to be going for.
There's no anti-air currently for Jjakji, actually. This Overlord...
Oh, lol.
Well, now here go the Marines, but still, this Overlord's spewing a lot of creep. Will buy a lot of time. The transfer a little bit wasted here, but, delaying Jjakji's base, gets out with the pneumatic Carapace. If the Marines pulled back immediately, he could go back in for a 2nd round of creep, but I don't think that's going to happen. But
nah.
I would Roach Hydra's cool. You don't see this enough versus TVZ, and the reality is the reason this doesn't get too popular is because it's so easy to shut down with tanks. They're not as mobile. They can't really, without Mutalists, you can't catch the medevacs going for drops. But in a straight-up engagement, this is so strong, and it's not the easiest thing to fight against Hydralisks. And if this does get like a lot of siege tanks to push it back, guess what? Vipers with Blinding Cloud are a hell of a thing. So
yeah, there is already an Infestation Pit out, so we could see a pretty fast hive as well.
Yeah, Stephano, of course, as I stated before, does like Swarm Host, and you don't typically go Swarm Host versus Bio, but I don't know. If he recognizes Jjakji gets tanks out like he currently does, maybe he'll throw a couple into the mix. However, unlikely.
This is really interesting.
No,
like, we have a 2nd factory coming out, and it's Swarm Host.
It is going to be Swarm Hosts.
The only time in recent memory I've seen Swarm Host against Bio, it was also against Jjakji, and it was Xenio at Home Story Cup, and it kind of fell flat on its face.
Well,
I'm really interested to see if Stephano can make this work.
The problem with it lies in the same fact that when you like the reason Mutalists became so popular, guys, they shut down medevacs. A lot of people think like, oh, it's this death ball that Bio can't stop, but it stops drops out. Like when's the last time you saw 3 drops go off at the same time versus a Terran player? Well, never, because that's what Mutalists stop. Now medevac's coming here to drop the 3rd base. There might be 2 Spore Crawlers here, but this Bio will still unload. Actually, completely out of range of that Spore Crawler. Really unfortunate. Stephano coming in with the Hydralisk. We'll lose a couple in the front lines. Lose the Queen, actually. But Jjakji gets out with everything alive in those drops.
Well, he did almost grab the medevac as well, so a bit better focus fire, and Stephano may have gotten that. So definitely, the Hydras are definitely a viable way to stop these drops from coming in, especially with the great creep spread that Stephano has going for himself right now. The big thing is Swarm Hosts have to be cost efficient. That's the whole point behind Swarm Hosts. They win because they are so cost efficient, but against so many tanks with bio support, I just don't know if they're going to be that cost efficient. We have, how many are already on the map? 8 in production, 1 already out, so 9 total already.
Well, there's currently not enough tanks to actually hold off Locust Waves, which is curious. You do need like 6 or so to be able to really effectively do it in the most efficient capacity, but with the bunkers here, with the supply depots here, these will soak hits. They can be repaired. It's actually not that scary, and of course, Locust, limited by their range, can't even wrap around the bunkers to shoot onto the tanks.
I also want to point out, though, that recently the tanks got a buff, and most people seem to think, okay, the attack speed is like 0.2 faster, that's not a big deal.
It's the difference of 8 tanks versus 6, though.
It is. The tanks will get an additional shot against oncoming Locust Waves, which in this situation will play a part. So Stephano is nearing max. Looks like he's going to be sticking around 11 Swarm Hosts, which I like. You don't want to overcommit to Swarm Hosts against Bio because they're so immobile against those super fast medevacs that it becomes really difficult to defend. But with only 11, he can lay some pretty hard siege power down, and, well, it's going to come down to how well Jjakji defends. He's got some good bunker placement here, a lot of tanks out. He's getting 2 tanks at a time, so he is up to that magic number of 7 now, actually above 6. And, well, there's a missile turret coming in as well, so he's going to be able to deny any burrowed roach attacks.
The problem for Stephano lies, though, with all his units on the front lines, it's not difficult for Jjakji to pick up, like, say, 2 medevacs and go drop around the map. Like, that is, again, stating the obvious. Not only are the Storm Hosts immobile, Hydralisks are not exactly immobile. They are pretty quick on creep, so are these roaches, but they're not instantaneous. They can't fly over terrain. And I think with some good... Well, actually, I take that back. Jjakji's going to have a lot of Spine Crawlers and Spore Crawlers to chew through. Stephano has guarded up his base quite nicely. I like this, actually, a lot.
This is really cool. Like, dropping against 3 spines is not the greatest of situations to be in. The problem that Stephano sees himself with right now is that he doesn't have a 4th base. He's trying to take one. Those Hellions just denied a drone going down there, and now Jjakji is pushing out. We have Stephano going to be burrowing those Swarm Hosts.
Oh, he's going to lose the Swarm Hosts.
He is going to lose 1 or 2, though. 2 of them actually do go down here, but a couple of the Marines going down essentially for free against these Locusts. The rest of Stephano's army has positioned himself.
Where are the Vipers, man? That's all I'm asking right now. Like, the Blinding Cloud would be fantastic. There's so many siege tanks pushing the front lines, and this is not a situation Jjakji should be able to find himself, but Hydro's getting right on top of the store. The Roaches, here come the Locusts on top of this. Most of the bio has melted, but the tanks still stand strong.
Really nice concave there from Stephano, allowing him to pick up a couple of those tanks, but there are still 7 of them standing. Jjakji with a bit of a supply deficit right now because Stephano does actually have a pretty nice mineral bank. He was able to spend all of the gas that he did lose. Back up to 11 Swarm Hosts. Seems like that's his magical number, and he's going to try to take the 4th again while Jjakji pulls on back, but there are already units there to deny it once again.
Yeah, Stephano, in the meantime, did try and go for a couple of run-bys with these roaches. A little unsuccessful on both ends. I think he picked off, like, an SCV or 2 over here at the 3rd, but as we see with so many orbitals coming up for Jjakji, he's not going to care about losing SCVs.
Stephano is just sort of setting himself up in the ultimate defensive position, kind of like you see players do against Protoss here. He's going to be adding a lot of spines on the front lines. He can slowly start pushing with the spines. He's trying to set the creep down again with 1 queen out at the front. I'd kind of like to see him add on a couple extra queens, but there's the Viper coming out, as you said before. Some Vipers would be magical here, and he's going to be trying just that.
The thing that's so fantastic about Vipers, and I really want to emphasize this in case people haven't seen this versus Bio, because again, it's not common versus Bio. First off, the Blinding Cloud on the tanks is a given. That's cool, whatever. But the Blinding Clouds also act somewhat like force fields where they zone out where the Bio can fight. The Bio actually have to come closer to fight or run out of range, one way or another. Not a situation you want to have to be in. So if Stephano, he can go for abducts, pick off tanks one at a time, sure, but I think the Blinding Clouds will be his strongest ally in the upcoming fights.
Yeah, the Bio can't really fight without the tank support against the Locust, especially with the Roaches and the Hydras there to give DPS and extra buffering power. So once you take the tanks out of commission with that Blinding Cloud, there's definitely a good chance that Stephano can actually push through this. The question is going to be, can Jjakji get some good spread on this tanks? Because there's only 2 Vipers out. They do have enough for 4 Blinding Clouds if they're full energy.
Oh, Medevac's getting picked off fully and entirely. Don't unload a single unit. 2 full Medevacs go down to the Hydralisks. Well positioned by Stephano. This drop will get cleaned up, and Stephano's going to need to pull these Hydralisks. The army is just looming right around the corner if he's not careful.
Good pickup for Stephano indeed. Jjakji nearing max again, but that is a nice resource loss for him. From the Stephano perspective. Jjakji, though, up to 5 bases here. Stephano actually harassing the top base a little bit with some roaches behind the mineral line. I like that a lot.
Yeah, he's been sending these little hit squads out. There's the Blinding Clouds need to come down on these tanks. Beautiful Blinding Clouds do go down. Tanks completely out of commission. Just the Bio versus Hydros and Locust will not cut it, but the Blinding Clouds only last a very short amount of time. Tanks will be coming out of... Yep, there we go. Now starting their siege mode once again. Hydralisk will get cleaned up, but the second wave of Locusts is on the way, and this push should be staved off. Hatchery might still go down, but the damage should be pretty much stopped right here. Last couple things will fall, cannot unsiege in time, and Jjakji loses everything here on the front lines. But that's okay. His production is actually fantastic, and he's already got a large army amassed back at home.
Yeah, with 5 bases up, he's in a really, really nice spot to just continue producing everything. He is going back into tank production. For a while, he did stop it. He's up to 3 factories as well, so he can continue producing a lot of tanks. Currently on the map, though, he doesn't have more than 2. The 2 Banshees are still alive as well. I'm interested to see if he tries to do something with those. I'm not quite sure where they are, though. Looks like one of them is camping the top base.
It's killed 2 drones so far. It's been waiting for expansions and all that goodness, but I want to point out, guys, if you don't know, by the way, Locusts are basically like mini Hydralisks. They've got the same attack speed, they got the same damage, they're just limited by range and cannot shoot up. That being said, though, that's a lot of free quote-unquote Hydralisks coming out every round. And the new wave of Locust spawns just in the nick of time to take this fight. Blinding Claws need to go down on these tanks once again, but no, goes for Abducts instead! Nicely done, and now the bio is forced to deal with Locusts and Hydralisks. That's not going to go too well. But actually, with the numbers he has, Blinding Claws being a little bit off. Stephano needs that next wave of Locusts so badly. And here they come.
He can't tank anything. The Hydras don't have any tanking forces surrounding them.
Yeah, the glass cannons.
The Locusts actually coming from behind, allowing him to clean this up. But a lot of Hydralisks did go down, and that was an expensive trade for Stephano. And he can't really afford expensive trades. He has to be super, super cost efficient here. Since he's only on 3 bases, losing 2 spines to the bottom, Stephano's actually lost more resources this game than his opponent, which is not a great spot to be in as a swarm hosting player.
Well, that's certainly true. It's not by lots, though. It's not like he's certainly out of the game by any means. This medevac count, by the way, guys, is so essential. It's the only reason Jjakji's not taking heavy losses. Normally, you don't see this many medevacs mixed in because, well, it's usually wasted supply, but absolutely necessary versus these Locust pushes.
Well, we do see Jjakji looming on that 4th base once again. It has since completed 3 starports on the way, so he's ready for a sky transition behind this. Does Stephano have enough to hold off this push, though? He does have a lot of energy on that 1 Viper. More Locusts are going to be able to come on in from the side.
The tanks aren't really that scary, though. Yeah, the Hydra should be able to deal with the Bioforce, but 1 Abduct goes off on the tanks, goes down immediately. Blinding Clouds would be really nice to go on top of the Marines, but goes for another Abduct instead, takes out the last tank. But Stephano, without many Hydras left, will have to rely on the next Locust wave. Will this be enough to hold this? This is still a lot of bios standing, and each of them have a personal medevac trying to heal each of these units. Stims on top of the Hydras, knows that the Locusts are whatever, and with no anti-air, he can pick up and get out.
Another pretty good trade there for Jjakji, but actually overall, resource-wise, that was an even one, which is still better for Jjakji than Stephano at this point, but it's not devastating by any means. Well, Stephano also up to 15 swarm hosts, so he's getting a lot of free units with every cycle.
I would really love to see like a couple infestors mixed into this now too, get some fungal growths to lock those medevacs down, because the second those medevacs fall, Jjakji no longer has the power to push. Like, again, these are such critical units in this composition. The tanks are scary, the bio is numerous, but it's the medevacs that are really the core of this.
The big problem with that, though, is that he just doesn't have the gas to get infestors out right now.
Yeah, I know.
Sitting on 8 gases. He's going to be down to 6, though. Those main ones are almost... well, one of them is going to expire in about a minute, and the other one's going to expire in just a few minutes after that. Yeah,
that's the it's almost like you compare it to a meching Terran player. Like, you need gas for this composition from Stephano so much more than minerals, and that's why Stephano's been floating, like, I think he had like a 3k bank a few moments ago, still at almost 2k right now. But Locust getting some tank kills here in the middle of the map. Pretty nice. Drops trying to go over here to the 3rd, but of course it's so heavily fortified with spine crawlers and spore crawlers. Shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, the Hydra's coming in just to help clean this up, but it looks like this drop actually will kill several Hydras, so it will get at least not a horrendous trade, although losing those 2 medevacs does hurt quite a bit. Meanwhile, Jjakji getting another position on this 4th base. He wasn't able to do well last time. Can he get it this time? The army's a little bit out of position. The Locust's going to try to push on in.
They buy time.
They are going to be able to get a little bit of the bio.
Well, they buy the time necessary for Stephano to get his forces over here. Now the Hydra's in position, still can't quite engage. Nice Abducts going down once again, but looks like the hatchery will fall, and again, with no anti-air, worst case scenario, Jjakji can just boost on, pick up, and get out of here. Another Abduct goes off, picks off one of the medevacs finally. But man, Stephano's hurting for gas, guys, and losing this base was sore. He's almost got 1k right now, but it's so easy to spend that. When you're going Hydralisks, Roaches, Swarm Host Vipers, these are all gas expensive units. I can't believe, by the way, how crazy back and forth this has been. Typically when it's Roach Hydra, it's usually a little more one-sided for either player. Like, whoever gets that initial advantage presses it hard. Stephano with some burrowed Roaches, didn't even know he went for Tunneling Claws, going to try and sneak over here, but of course there's a missile turret on top of the line of production. I don't know how much this is going to necessarily get done.
Well, it's a nice little try. It's not a huge investment, 3 Roaches. Meanwhile, Jjakji once again trying to get a good position up on this base. He's definitely the aggressor right now. He's in a better position economically, and he knows that as long as he keeps denying this 4th base, Jjakji will win this game. He's going to try to go on in and try to deny it once again. The Locust Wave coming in to try to do some damage. It is going to buy the time, as you said, once again, as the Hydras close the gap. It's not really all that many roaches to tank.
And again, what's so scary is like he's really prioritizing the abducts, which isn't bad. He's getting free tank kills, but it's costing him the bio. The bio just goes unfettered, stutter stepping around. There's nothing to stop him. And I mean, the tanks are kind of, I feel, almost a distraction from Jjakji at this point. I don't think he's relying on them in the slightest. He wants those abducts to go off. He doesn't want to deal with the blinding clouds.
Well, the Locusts will be able to clean up enough of this army to force Jjakji back, but Stephano's going to be going for a double Spire transition, and double Spire is definitely something that can work versus Terran nowadays, but I don't like it in this position because he has no gas.
Yeah, like he's only going to be able
6 Vipers.
He's not going to be able to make any Broodlords out of this. He's not going to be able to really max on Mutalisk anytime soon. Jjakji's saying, all right, you know what? I finally pressed the issue enough. 2 drops coming down here. Might pick off this base again. We'll probably go towards the main, but again, there's still some static defenses down. Locusts are doing a great job of zoning out, by the way.
Yeah, the Locusts are actually trading really, really well, but with 3-3, these units in the main should be able to chew through these spines, and now he's got just a couple of Hydras to deal with. The Hydras do
He needs the
really
blinding
good
cloud,
damage.
actually. Oh, never mind. He's got this.
The biggest problem is that Stephano just made 6 Vipers. Vipers are really, really good, but not 6 of them. Like, that's way, way, way too many Vipers. Like,
It's a large part of his army supply, but he needs the blinding clouds, quite frankly, I feel. Like, even with a low...
No, it's not. Like, it's not even the army supply, though. That's 1,200 gas, and he just went for a double Spire transition.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the gas for this. He has 6 gas, he's 4 gases. No, he has 2 gases. Jesus, he's mined out of the main and the natural.
Well, he's finally expanded towards both the north and the south. Whether this will work out, we'll have to wait and see. Of course, this northern base is incredibly exposed in comparison, and there's actually no creep bridge between it, as it was cleaned up by Jjakji earlier on. So, responding to a drop or even an attack, even a small poke towards the north, is kind of out of the question at this point.
All right, we have a fusion core and starports numbers 4 through 6 being produced. So the BC transition could be on the cards once Jjakji frees up some more supply. He's got 3 Ravens out already gathering energy, and he's just going to continue pressuring this base at the bottom. He takes out the one at the top once again. No cancel. Stephano is just slowly but surely losing this war of attrition.
The infestors are coming way too late too, I fear. Like, I mean, he knew that battlecruisers would probably eventually come, so that's why we have the Spire, but the Corruptors aren't even going to have a chance to make an appearance on the field, I feel. Nice blinding clouds actually this time. Everything getting blanketed by this. Hydras being unaffected, of course, and the siege tanks not firing a damn thing. Secret missiles being targeted on the Hydras, with Stephano already pulling the back, trying to get him out of range. They do still connect.
Really good micro there.
Really good micro indeed. Could try and abduct the medevacs, but they do boost on out.
Finally, a good trade for Stephano.
About time.
This is what he needed, and he's going to get a free CC, so definitely what Stephano needed here. This doesn't really put him back in the game just yet, but it's one step in the right direction.
Yeah, and like you said, the attrition game is kicking in now. There's no minerals in the main, no minerals in the natural, no minerals at the third. Or I said those in the backwards order, but he is finally mining 51 workers out of 24. A little bit of oversaturation, but it's the only base he can mine from. Blinding Cloud does go down on the planetary, and this should fall with a second Blinding Cloud. Got some power coming in from the north, though. These Hydras actually have to be careful. He's going to lose these Hydralis, Penguin. He can't afford to remake these.
Well, we do actually have the Locusts actually staving them off for now. He's going to have to wait for the next Locust Wave to come on in, but the Infestors have joined up with the army. A good fungal, well, actually...
decent fungal at best.
Kind of whiffed. So, nice idea to have the fungals out, but they aren't really hitting just yet. He really needs to hit those. He's only got the 4 Infestors, so...
Needs the Blinding Cloud, the
planetary.
Needs the Blinding Cloud, the planetary. I don't know why he's... Oh, he just kills it anyway, so... Hydra's taking a lot of damage from that unnecessarily in the red hardcore. Meanwhile, Jjakji's saying, alright, well, if your army's over here, it's not elsewhere. And he's going to go for 4 drops in total. 2 to the third, and most likely 2 to the natural. And actually, Stephano's so very far out of position. Oh, he's got no static defenses. Well, he's got some, but they're going to be out of range of this.
Well, Stephano once again going to get a good trade on this drop. So, that's another tiny, tiny, tiny win for him. Jjakji, however, he doesn't have the attrition problem. He doesn't have the problem of, I'm never going to have money. He has every base. Like, he had the one bottom right. He mined it for a very long time, so the minerals have already lost quite... I mean, the minerals are almost gone there.
Oh, last mining base of Stephano gonna fall. Drones in full retreat, and while this was an exciting game, it may just end up coming to an end now. Stephano... still close to max. So there's a lot of Swarmos will not be broken anytime soon, but the mobility of the bio, guys, is really starting to shine. Those double drops combined with that giant push, this is why you need Mutalisk, is what this boils down to.
Yeah, overall, Stephano's played this game very, very well. He's showed that I think this style can actually work, which is kind of weird because coming into this game, I did not expect Bio versus Swarm Hosts to really be a possibility for the Zerg to win. At this point, there's pretty much no possibility that Stephano will win.
Yeah, he's going all in.
He's showed that this style can work, which is kind of cool for me as a Zerg player, so.
SCV's being a sacrifice for army supply here. Might actually kill an Infestor if not careful.
Yeah. Well, basically, this is just Jjakji. He wants to clear up supply. He doesn't need more money. He's still got 54 drones, and he's got a bajillion mules, so.
Well, guys, this is Stephano, of course, without that base, realizes he kind of has to go all in. So we're going to see a good fight here. I mean, this could go in the favor of Stephano. Keep in mind, Jjakji is going to be contending with, what is that, 9 Vipers? Sorry, 8 Vipers worth of Blinding Clouds.
Too many Vipers.
Yeah, like, basically, well, actually, the spread on these tank subducts might be a little more cost-effective if you can grab them off one at a time or even pick them off individually. But, of course, the drop here towards the south will knock down this base with Stephano. No defense. Couple Marines and Marauders will kill all the drones, but I don't know if Stephano necessarily cares. Again, he's kind of forced to be all in at this point. Scan. Oh, no, he's going to leave the Infestors unprotected as the Hydras fall back to deal with the push. Oh, no. Fungal Growth goes off, and he loses about a quarter of his Infestors already.
Swarm Host going down. He's still got a few at the top.
Or Swarm Host,
good amount at the top, actually. 14 left, but there's just so many tanks for Jjakji. He's got some good upgrades going on the tanks with 3-1.
And Infestors on the front line. Oh, no. Now the Infestors get picked off. Yeah, I misspoke about...
Bungles, but it's not enough.
Raven's getting picked off. A couple Seeker Missiles going to go down. Will kill that one. Oh, no, he's got to be careful. Don't splash damage. On top of the Vipers. But with this is looking really bad for Stephano, guys. The last heroic push, but let's not forget, while he might lose this game, there is a loser's bracket to this. It is double elimination, so you will see Stephano at some point somewhere later today. But making a good last attempt here. A good game is finally thrown out, and Jjakji will take it 2-0 over Stephano.
I have to say, that was a really good showing from Stephano. I did not expect him to play that well.
Oh, no.
To be quite honest.
Yeah, that was really well done. Who's Jjakji going to fight next?
Let's refresh the brackets and see.
Because I'm imagining all the other series have started. Let's cast that, because I'm imagining all the other series have probably started with how long that game was.
Okay, updates on the rest of the games from the round of 16. Kane won over Naniwa because of a def win. Baby Knight beat Haswabs. Mana beat Damaga. Tefl beat Stardust. Jjakji beat Stephano. Happy beat Slivko. Snoot beat Titan. And TLO beat Revenge. So that means that the quarterfinals of the winner bracket are Kane versus Baby Knight, Mana versus Tefl, Jjakji versus Happy, Snoot versus TLO. So we'll be jumping into Jjakji versus Happy now. Meanwhile, in the losers bracket, Slivko will be facing off against Stephano, Revenge against Titan, Haswabs against Naniwa, and Stardust did just eliminate Damaga from the tournament, so he'll be playing the loser of one of the winner bracket matches.